Hello and welcome to Crypto Invest TV. I'm your host X8, and I'll be followed up by the Underdoge. We are sorry for the technical difficulties from earlier, but we have worked out most of the kinks, and we can continue streaming from here forward. So, as we were saying earlier, um, we ended up hitting the dreaded death cross over here on the end of this chart, and as you see right after that, we had a pretty nasty plummet. We plummeted down initially to about 32,300 and some odd, and then we went all the way down to a low of 31,165, and currently on a bounce back of 32,546. So the thing about the death cross is that it doesn't actually necessarily mean that 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 there's going to be downward momentum. It doesn't actually mean that that we're going to have that it doesn't mean that that we're necessarily going to have downward momentum. All it is just saying that the 200-day moving average to the 50-day moving average have intersected each other, meaning that the movement that we had across 200 days was higher than the movement that there was currently across the 50 days. And the whole reason why that ended up happening was because we ended up having that initial significant drop, right? We ended up dropping from the 64,000, basically 65,000, right? We ended up dropping, from that, all the way down to that 30,000. And if you look, even with that death cross, really, we're still sitting sideways right now. We haven't even gone down below our lowest low, for, for the year, I think, right? I don't even think we've even hit the lowest low for the year, of 2021. No, yeah, so it's not like we've gone past the past, low that we had at 30K. We're not underneath 28K, which is what people were expecting, right? They were expecting that we were gonna end up having that that big drop. Everyone thought, some people thought we were gonna go all the way down to like 15K, and it's just kind of ridiculous that people would think that we would crash that hard this time after crashing so hard already. I mean, we've already corrected essentially, by that 50%, right?
Yeah, it's not looking really healthy. Pulling up the chart right now, and so it'll take me a second to pull my chart up, but it's kind of scary for investors.
Yeah, especially new investors. I mean, any investors that came in at the beginning of this year or near the end of last year, it's fairly scary for them. It's definitely, it's probably terrifying for people who bought at 60, at nearly 65,000 and are still holding. They're probably worried that they might end up losing all of their money. Some of the less experienced investors.
As I was saying earlier before we cut out, I was talking to a friend of mine earlier about this death cross, and called them to talk to him about the market, and me and him started talking, and I was like, man, like these prices are alarming. But it's more like, to me, in a sense, if I had the extra money right now, this is a buyer's market right now. I mean, just take a look at that chart right there. Like, when's the last time have you ever seen a Bitcoin that was worth 32,000? It's been some, at least a good year or so, and for me personally, this is a scary time for new investors, yes. But at the same token, our last topic will cover why it's not so much as a scary time for new investors too, with the new gems, the BSC new gems that we'll be talking about. But at the same token, I want to say that this is also a very scary looking chart and alarming chart for, yes, investors, like you said, who got in at 60, but even investors who got in at like 35, right? And put a couple $1,000s in here and there, every other, chance at the head, right? And then when it hit 60, they were like, yeah, I could sell, but I think I'll hold until it hits 100. And then now they're seeing the market the way it is, and they're like, oh my God. Like my buddy that I was talking to earlier, he has a lot of money invested into Bitcoin. Well, he was like, dude, he's like, I'm so mad that I didn't sell and save that money to buy in right now. He's like, not that he doesn't have extra money, but at the same time, he's just telling me, he's like, dude, I would be buying right now. And I was like, man, you already know. If I was sitting on a nice chunk of change, I'd be diversifying into a bunch of different ones. But this is definitely um, a scary time. But I think that this is just technically a market correction. I think we're just seeing some manipulation going on. I think we're seeing some market correction happening, and this is a really good time to buy. Um, uh, I mean, the way the market is right now, there's a lots of places that are preventing people from purchasing. So, I mean, it's kind of rough.
Yeah, I
We're
mean,
we're in
imagine
a weird
that
place right now.
a good chunk of this, this correction today, imagine that, most of this correcting that you're seeing, that's happening not necessarily because, these two lines, essentially giving, statistics crossed each other more so than it is like think about what's going on over in China, right? China is essentially trying to ban, crypto as a whole over there, right? They want their digital yuan to be
Well, that's because they want to be dictators like they've always been.
and so what I'm saying is that a lot of these miners and a lot of the hash rate is dropping, and I can most assuredly say that there's probably a ton of people over in China that are selling because they're just like, oh no, I don't, I can't do anything with this. This is going to be illegal here soon, I'm sure. And if you were to go and like do like a VPN search, right? And pose yourself as though you were doing a internet search while you were in China. The things that they're saying like on their type of news versus what is in the media over here in the U.S. They're totally separate things, right? They're and it's not to say that we haven't had the same kind of articles, but it's all about how it's worded and what the meaning is behind it in comparison to you know what goes on over here in the US. If a media outlet says something like that, well, there's no indication that, oh yeah, the government's potentially going to legalize this in some shape, way, or form. Versus in China, if they hear something really negative about something, they're like, oh yeah, that's probably going to be dealt with, right? And so people they don't want to end up essentially losing all their money because of that. And then on top of that, with all these miners leaving or having to shut down, I should say, they're going to be looking into moving into into other countries. Most likely we'll be seeing a lot of them going to over here to the US, but then also some countries that are a lot closer than than than
Look, this is the thing. Uh, uh, Funny thing you actually brought that up. I just passed by Matt Wallace, Dogecoin influencer, Matt Wallace on Twitter, right? And um, he said that all the China or Asian Bitcoin mining companies are flooding here to the U.S. as we speak. So we're going to see a migration of all those mining companies come from China over here. And most of these people are going to do the VPN thing, obviously, of course, to try to still stick around into the Bitcoin. But if China makes it completely illegal, right? And they want their digital yuan to be the money, and you can't get Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency inside their country, right? Um, that's just going to really suck for them because then their money's really going to be based off what value comes out of their country. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not really going to have a value to that. What? How many other countries are going to buy into that fucking, excuse my French, but that effing crap? Like, you think a bunch of countries are going to that support all these different cryptocurrencies are just going to be like, oh, screw every other cryptocurrency. Let's just invest only in the digital yuan. Like, that's to me is a bunch of horse crap. And that sucks for China because if they go through with that, then they're going to potentially miss out on one of the biggest booms of being able to at least put their hands in a market full of different cryptos and be able to come up with some kind of profits to at least return to their country. But we know what China's like. China's crazy, man. They're dictators over there, and the government gets to tell you what you can and can't do and how to breathe and how to wear your underwear. So it only makes sense to me that they're trying to ban that. But I feel personally that if America becomes the central hub for Bitcoin, or mining in general, not just for Bitcoin, then we're going to return to where America used to be on the market. Like as a country, the greatest country to exist again, because we're going to have. But then I see an issue too with all these miners coming here and polluting the infrastructure with their mining rigs. You know what I'm saying? Like, not saying that it could be a harm. I don't know. I've never done the research to see how many rigs it would take to really harm the ecosystem here in America. Especially new green energy rigs, But it just seems that if they do end up flooding here to America, that we're gonna have a pretty much same thing what we got going on in the token market. Just a flood of businesses, some with no purpose and some who want to scam, etc.
Well,
So we'll see what happens, man. I mean, it's a scary time in the market right now.
well,
Lots of manipulation.
so over here in Texas, Greg Abbott had came out recently and said that they were all for working with blockchain technologies, right? And over here in Texas, we do actually have a fair amount of solar energy and wind energy, and so I mean there is actually a pretty decent amount of I guess you would say energy available that's clean energy that is also cheap energy for new mining companies or mining companies from across the pond to you know be able to come and start up. Yeah, they're gonna have to do things differently when it comes to being over here. And as for there being a lot more scams, as for the ones that are gonna end up being based in Texas, I could say that it's gonna be a lot more difficult for them to try and scam while in Texas just because of the regulation. I mean, we already know about how the regulation is just because, what are the two states in America that can't use the Binance exchange? What are the two states? It's
Well,
Texas and New
and
York.
in New York, yeah. All right, so let's say, okay, let's take a realistic aspect into reality in effect right now. Okay, so um, the only possible way any blockchain or cryptocurrency smart contract can ever, ever be hacked is if they leave a loophole in the security feature. That's the only way. That's the only way. Like an entry port, like a external entry port or something of that nature, for you to interact with the security from outside of the blockchain. That's the only way that you will ever be able to hack a blockchain. There's no way that you can hack a blockchain, right? I just read earlier that a cryptocurrency company, they dropped their coin or something like that, and then they were hacked. To me, that sounds like these places are going to start using being hacked as a scapegoat and trying to manipulate the masses as to thinking that blockchains can be hacked. So that way they try to divert away from the technology. But if you understand a blockchain, you know that there's no way possible that you're hacking that blockchain. It's impossible unless the devs have left some kind of security feature to a point where you can access it, from outside the blockchain. That's the only way. It's the only way. Or if your security is trash. If you have a weak security model inside of your blockchain and your smart contracts and your cryptocurrency, then it's a possibility you could get hacked, right?
Yeah, I would
But
say that
most
I would
most companies that are dropping a blockchain aren't spending 3 years producing this blockchain and running beta tests and alpha tests on it to leave a security feature where they could get hacked.
Yeah, a lot of these token projects or these pre-sales and things like that, they're like, "Oh, we got hacked," or this the service that we're using was actually a scam service, or whatever the case may be. It's always somebody else's fault, right? And so, generally speaking, whenever a new project ends up essentially, rug pulling, and then the response is that it was something that was completely out of their control, that no one believes it. No one's gonna believe that, oh yeah, it was just unfortunate that, like, all this money, either somehow completely disappeared, now it's just floating around in the ether, or it was stolen by by the website that it was launched on, or no, there's no
Hey,
reason to believe that nonsense, because that's not going to be a
hey,
reality.
I will say this though. I have heard some shady things about DX sale. I think it is, not just from one company, but from multiple. So I don't know. I haven't done my research. I'm not here to spread FUD. Just saying that I heard some very unwelcoming things that I didn't like about that website from a lot of companies through Telegram. I don't know, however, the full details to as if that specific website itself is like a scam website where like you do stuff on it, like I'm not saying that it is, so please don't twist the words out there, you guys, but I have heard there are some sale websites coming out that are scamming people who are dropping BNB to get these projects launched, and then their projects just like, I don't know, they're taking the BNB and pretty much running. So there are some shady websites, and if you know better, then you know to do your own research before doing stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
And that's why
So
I'm saying, generally speaking, if they're like, oh, it was a scam by the site or something like that. Generally speaking, you should know better than to believe something like that. Generally speaking, because you know, if these people are trying to, if these people are trying to, be devs for a token, then they got to know their stuff, right? And if it's somebody that has essentially zero knowledge to begin with, right? Then usually those people end up using something that's like very well known because they
right,
don't know any better, so they're just going to go with whatever essentially the top site is for doing that, or whatever one of the top people on YouTube says, like, hey, you can go here and do this, and now you'll have yourself a BEP 20 token. So
right.
they're not going to go and use some sketchy site because they're already sketched out about doing it already, because they're going to be possibly involving their personal money to get it started. In the regards of not the pre-launches, but when they just go and they just straight up launch it, they just mint it and launch it. And so people are already really sketched out about doing that to begin with, and so they're going to go with whatever is considered to be the most trustworthy platform to go with. They're not going to go with some random one. People that know what they're doing are gonna use us, are gonna use the proper platforms, and people that don't know what they're doing are gonna end up going with whatever the people that are influential say they should use. And generally speaking, you're not gonna see somebody trying to shill out some kind of scam platform if they're one of the top YouTubers for the crypto space. They're just not gonna do that. It's gonna be
And
damaging to them.
that's the problem too. Is like a lot of these top YouTubers have been shilling like a lot of projects that seem extremely freaking promising, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, just turn around to become a complete freaking rug. And it sucks because sometimes you'll do your diligence, right? You'll do your end, you'll research, you'll make sure everything looks legit, seems legit, and you'll even wait for them, and they'll do an audit too. And this is what blows my freaking mind is some of these companies are actually going through an audit and then rugging.
Yeah, they're definitely trying to get more elaborate with it, so that way, like, they can try and generate the highest amount of market cap as they can, and then in turn into the liquidity, and then pulling out and running off.
Right. Yeah, it's just blowing my mind. Like, and yeah, that's probably one reason why our market's being affected for sure. I can definitely imagine it. Um, I definitely see. I see nothing but good things coming for this market. Like I mean, I see upwards right now. We're at 32.7. It's better than where we were sitting at earlier. And
Yeah, and on
I
top of that, I
mean,
mean,
Doge got really low. That was really scary. I was loving it though because if I had money, I'd be buying up right now. My God, this is a buying opportunity all across the board, everywhere. I bet you. I haven't looked at V Chain, but I guarantee you that V Chain's cheap right now too. I guarantee you that ADA is cheap. I guarantee you XRP is cheap. Everything is low right now, which that's great. This is great investment times right now.
yeah, and
Great.
that's kind of one of the things about, like, you know, you shouldn't try and buy every single dip, because that's how you end up with the issue to where, like, you bought all the dips up to here, and now here's like essentially what could be potentially like the dip of dips, right? and
Right.
and then you're like, oh man, I'm all out of disposable income, and it's simply just too risky to put any non-disposable income in, because I'm extremely afraid that this shit's gonna have again, because we just got the death cross and this, that, and another. And so it's something that just it's one of the reasons why you shouldn't try and buy every dip, right? It's one thing to sell profits on the, like to take out your profits on the way up, but you definitely don't want to sit there and buy, every dip all the way down. I mean, if you got the money to do it, then I guess it doesn't matter. But I'm just saying for the general, like retail investor, you know, it's probably best not to try and buy every single dip. But on top of that, doing your research on why it's dipping to begin with, right?
Yeah, dude, if anything, don't try to buy every single dip. Maybe if it went from like 40 to like 33, buy that dip, right? And then hopefully it shoots back up, right? You make a couple bucks. When it goes underneath 33, that's when you would buy your next dip. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to just buy every dip and be like, oh, shoot, it's 33, 595. Oh, shoot, it's 33, 188. Gotta buy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to buy that dip. You don't want to buy that dip. You want something that's gonna be like 40 grand, right? Your Bitcoin's trading at 40 grand today. Let's say that, right? Theoretically speaking. Bitcoin's trading at 40 grand. You put in like 3 grand, right? You're like, oh hell yeah, this is a cheap Bitcoin. Then you see it drop to like 36. You're like, oh, what the F? And you're like, oh, well, I got like 3, 4 grand extra. Screw it. Why not? Throw it in. That's the time to throw it in. You know what I'm saying? Or if it goes to like 33. Now, you don't want it to drop, say, like it goes 40, 38, and then you buy in 36, and you buy in 32, and then you buy in. You know what I'm saying? Like, how the average retail investor can't afford that.
Yeah, and that's was exactly my point on why you try not to buy every dip.
No doubt. I get it. I get that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, like, those are the kind of dips you want to buy. Like, if Dogecoin was at 52 cents or something, right? Which it's going to take a hot second before it gets back there. But anyways, let's say Dogecoin's 52 cents, right? And then it drops to like 33 cents. And then, yeah, fucking buy. Yeah, and then tomorrow it could be at like 70 cents. And then, you just bought a really good dip. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I mean, you look right now, right? So here was the dip that we had back at near the end of May, and we dropped down to about 20 cents, right?
Yeah.
And then, we came back up, and then we got up to about 44 cents, and then we essentially had a slow bleed all the way up until, Bitcoin got its death cross, and then we all know what happens if Bitcoin's, if the price of Bitcoin drops tremendously. Generally speaking, a lot of crypto out there is going to drop with it. That's just, I mean, it's the majority of the market, and so it just, that's just what it does right now. If you were to look 30, 40 years from now, 50 years from now, when like, it's getting closer to that date of like, all the Bitcoins being mined and stuff, then, as it's getting closer to that date, do you really think that at that point that it's still going to be like the dominant coin? It's not. We're like right now, we're seeing Bitcoin dominance dropping, right? We're already seeing that now, generally speaking. So if that's happening now, we can only imagine what's going to happen 30 plus, 40 plus years from now when, Cardano's on like, it's like fifth, add-on project or something like that. You know what I mean? Like Alonzo is essentially like a thing of the past, and we're all on this like super next gen blockchain technology. I mean, you think about the evolution of technology, and so if you were to think about 30 years from now, 30 to 40 years is like the average for something being adopted, right? You look at the horse and buggies to cars, right? When the vehicle was first invented, and I mean like like mass production vehicle. I don't mean like the literal first invention, because if we look at that, then we're gonna have to talk about from Bitcoin back in 2008. But what I'm saying is like from like when it was understood, right, from the initial understanding of a of a decent sized population, that's when you start to see a transition, right? And so initially we saw only the rich buying cars. So that part doesn't reflect necessarily with what we're talking about, but what I'm saying is that we only saw a select few people buying Bitcoin back when Bitcoin, was relatively new and it was only a couple of years old. Only a few people were buying it because only a few people, only a handful of people knew how to go about getting Bitcoin. It's not like it is today. Buying Bitcoin and a lot of these other cryptos. It's easy. I mean, you can use your debit card, you can use your credit card. I mean, there's all these different platforms. There's all these different apps. There's so much now in comparison to like 2014. We'll say there's such a huge gap, right? And so that's what I'm saying. Like if you look at where the Model T was, right? That was like the first like streamlined vehicle that like could be bought massively. So you look at Model T and when it came out in the very early 1900s. All right, so let's move up to 1950. you know, you can see that there's a complete change in the way that vehicles are. They're more efficient. There's a lot more people driving them. There's been rules that have been established with them because if you go back to when vehicles were first built and people were first driving them, there actually wasn't really any rules. There wasn't like necessarily speed limits and things like that because they didn't go very fast. And so, we saw rules and regulations be built around this concept called the vehicle, and it took about, 40 years for it to really get locked in and become the norm, right? And so then you take the internet, right? And it kind of shortens up a bit in comparison, but generally speaking, when it comes to the internet as from its beginning to as we know it, that took about 30, 40 years. And now it's the norm. So so long as something catastrophic, so long as something that doesn't happen that's catastrophic towards crypto, which I mean, it would have to be absolutely catastrophic for it to, for that to happen. You're going to see that happen. You're going to see that progression over the years to where crypto ends up becoming the norm. And for countries that end up deciding that it's not something that they want to be involved with, they think that either A, they can do it better, or B, they want to do it so that way they can have their own form of control, then guess what actually ends up happening to those countries? They actually end up with the problem because everyone else is understanding that it's becoming slowly more and more difficult to actually use their crypto that they're essentially forced to use, right? And so, people will start to get out of it, and either that or the country begins to slowly reform back into allowing these others. And the reason why is because once it gets to a point of mass adoption to where, you know, making essentially microtransactions like buying a pack of gum, paying for a little bit of gas. Once it gets to a point to where paying with crypto like that is the norm, so you're either using fiat currency or you're using crypto, it's going to be kind of like one of those norm things, right? And so once it gets to that type of level, you're going to see that the likelihood that people are going to want to deal with your crypto is going to be less likely, so because they're just like, if there's anything that yours has hardly any value for, it's XYZ, right? And the reason why is because you've made it to where, like, all the other crypto is banned from your country because you want to force your specific one. And so that will make it to where even countries down the road that try to take control of crypto, so long as the rest of the world continues on that adoption scale, it's not going to matter in the long run. In the long run, they're going to actually have to end up making a choice, that can either hurt them or help them. And generally speaking, when it comes to those kind of impasses, they're just going to they're going to concede and do with whatever is going to be the best option, just simply because because they want to make sure that they essentially like remain in power, for instance, or they don't have any kind of collapses within their own economy. There's multiple things, and so they're going to end up doing that. And so even if right now things are bad, I can promise you that by the next cycle, anyone who stays in and holds now will see what everyone is talking about right now. All the new investors that are hearing all these YouTubers talk about things right now, they're going to understand what they were meaning and why they were saying it come the next time, once this one ends. Because once this cycle ends, right, and we go in, and then we go into our crypto winter, and then we go into the next bull cycle. By that time, the new investors right now, they'll have become more experienced. But the thing about it, on top of that, is that it really depends on how adoption goes right now, right? So if adoption continues to move at a rapid pace, and say next month we hear about, let's say Spain, Spain says, yeah, we're gonna make crypto legal tender or something, right? Or let's say Cuba, that'd probably work out better. We'll say that Cuba, is like, yeah, we're going to use Bitcoin as a legal tender, right? So there's another country, and so then that gets that positive news. And if we're still maintaining at the areas that we're at, then it just ends up building that foundation underneath it, that much more so, because as it becomes to a point of mass population using any of the top cryptos, you're gonna see those numbers skyrocket irregardless, simply for the fact that if you were to take the numbers of, like, let's just say we took everyone in America, right? We took everyone in America, and everyone in America put 10% of their income into crypto, right? We would see crypto. We'll use Bitcoin specifically. Let's say everyone put it specifically into Bitcoin, right? You would see that end up changing how much it goes in price, and it's not like it's going to end up being a small fluctuation like how it is. It's going to end up being huge fluctuations. You're going to be seeing, like, somewhere, you could see a jump in the price of upwards of like 40K. So if we're currently sitting at 30K right now, and then everyone in America put in like 10% of their income, their annual income into Bitcoin, you would see Bitcoin's price rise by like 40K, right? So you take that as an example, and then take everyone in America and then just spread those numbers out across the world. And then that's kind of what we're going to end up seeing. And it's all about making sure that during these times of this adoption, that you're paying attention to what's actually going on, and not just worried about the price. Because if you're paying attention to what's actually going on and not necessarily worrying about the price on the forefront, then you can understand on a better level on whether on what you should be doing as an investor, whether you're an institutional investor or a retail investor. Institutional investors, they already kind of have their game plans set up, and that's kind of one of the reasons why we're seeing such a downwards push, right? Is specifically because they've got their game plans, and they know what they're doing, and that's what they're going to be doing, and that's their strategy. And you know as an individual, can every individual say that, like, they have a complete strategy for either direction on what they're going to be doing to try and combat that issue? No. Not every single retail investor has that type of strategy.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Couldn't have said it better myself.
But I guess we'll go ahead and instead of talking about all this negative stuff, let's go ahead and move on to Project Alonzo.
Yeah, I actually seen that earlier, and when I had sent you over that link, right? And I didn't actually get to look into it yet. Should have, but I didn't. So I will let you go ahead and take the jump on this one while I pull up Project Alonzo.
Right. So while he's going ahead and he's pulling up some of the information on that, we'll briefly just look at the price over here. We're currently sitting at $1.24. We see that we had that all-time high of $2.47. So, pretty much sitting at about exactly half right now from the all-time high. And you know, if we go ahead and we look at the 15-minute chart from the beginning of today, or yeah, about yesterday going into today, we can see that we can see that realistically there's actually not that much. I mean, it's like, yeah, there's a 20-cent drop, don't get me wrong, but realistically, I mean, we're actually seeing something pretty good from where we're sitting at right now. It did get down to almost $1, so a good buying opportunity for the people that were there, and we see that plenty of people were definitely on that boat of opportunity. But realistically, I think Cardano is actually a fairly stable coin, really and honestly. Uh,
I think I know it's
and
one of the best projects on the market.
yeah, I think I think Cardano's doing they're doing really great things, right? I think they're really trying to push to that forefront, right?
Right.
There's the whole thing about when it comes to their their strategy on working on their technology, it's peer reviewed, right? And so I think that's kind of one of the really good things about them, is that even if it does take them longer to to get something launched, like sometimes they have to push dates back and things like that. But at the same time, I would honestly rather you take a little bit longer and it be, r- you know, really thoroughly worked out, and less issues that you would have to fix down the road, if any, um, in comparison to just putting something out that it generally does what you're wanting it to do, but you don't know any, you don't know if there's XYZ that's going to happen in the background that could be a potential issue. You're just going to put it up because you're more or less trying to stick to that date, right? You're trying to stick to the day that you said, or the month that you said that you were going to have it going, right? And that can actually end up hindering a project more than anything.
Sorry about that.
Oh no, you're good.
Yeah, I think it's my software updates trying to install. So I had to.
Yeah, you're cutting out pretty bad. Um, I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get this pulled up real fast. Just want to get this up for them real fast. There we go. All right. So one of the things that Cardano has been working on is something called Project Alonzo, and so you know essentially what that is that's going to be a that's going to be the smart contract add-on, right? And so with that, we'll end up, you'll end up essentially having, I think, more capabilities on the network than potentially you know, some of the, better known, uh, cryptos like Ethereum.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. Sorry, I'm trying to look this up. I'm having some issues.
Oh no, you're
It seems like luck is not in our favor tonight. Having issues with the sound at first, then all of a sudden I'm trying to like look things up while I'm talking to you. It's interfering with my sound. It's just yeah. Today with the market the way it looks and everything else going on, I'd say it's definitely a Monday.
yes, definitely a Monday to say the least. Um, so I'm just gonna go ahead and pull up this older article. I was hoping that I could find something newer or the direct, direct information, but unfortunately I cannot. But essentially,
Hmm.
Cardano's upcoming Alonzo smart contract update will take Cardano up to new heights. Cardano has become one of the most prominent upcoming blockchain networks. Its native token ADA has risen to become one of the top 10 cryptocurrencies in the world by market capitalization. In the short span of time, it currently ranks seventh. From this was back in April. I'm not sure where it's ranking right now. Let's take a look. Currently, it's actually ranked fifth, so it's actually still doing better than what it was in April in terms of market cap. Um, on April 1st, the foundation released the oh man, I'm gonna botch that Delalis update. I'm terrible at reading those type of words, which ushered in support for native tokens on the Cardano blockchain, along with the Project Catalyst Fund 3 voting registration, effectively beginning the countdown to Cardano becoming an entirely decentralized blockchain.
Yep. Well, I found an article that was released 13 hours ago that states that Cardano admitted to spying on Polkadot.
Really?
Yeah, so
Where was this
uh,
at?
this is on investing.com. An article doesn't give a name, says Daily Coin. But it says Cardano's founder Charles Hoskinson has admitted to spying on Polkadot. He made the admission on the Lex Fridman show, where he spoke at length about Cardano and its future. Spying on rivals is not a new thing in the cryptocurrency circles, according to Hoskinson, as he cited the example of Consensus and EOS. Cardano's Alonzo update spells a run of good fortune for the network, with smart contracts now a reality. Those were just like little headers. But he did say that okay, so Cardano's espionage. Charles Hoskinson, the founder of Cardano, has let the cat out the bag over spying on the competition. He has made this known to crypto enthusiasts. He says by fiddling with Polkadot's code, or no, he says eventually forking their code and running private versions of it. By fiddling with Polkadot's code, Hoskinson is hopeful that significant insights may be obtained. So it seems like they're adapting some code from Polkadot's network into theirs, into Project Alonzo
Well,
to
from what
write.
from what I'm understanding, from what Hopkins is saying, from what I understand from what he's saying is that they're looking at the code to try and get a better understanding, like a kind of like a third person perspective about maybe what it is that they're trying to do. And so I don't think it's necessarily that they're trying to like, just plagiarize their blockchain technology. I think it's more like they're trying to not necessarily even piggyback, but it's just kind of like sometimes you're trying to find the answer for something, and
Yeah,
sometimes
no,
when you look for something else that's similar to it, you end up understanding the answer that you were looking for, and so that could easily be, like what he's
yeah,
meaning
'cause
here.
there could be like a little parsip, like a little snip of code inside of somebody else's code that could be implemented into, if you're writing your blockchain in the same language, you may be able to use that little string of code that they have that may implement a um, solution to a problem that you're having inside of your code. Like it says in that article, it could be used to when developers look over other project codes, they're actually looking for other ways to solve a puzzle. You know what I'm saying? So that's technically how that goes. When you're um, looking over code, and then if it's in the same language but it's just kind of written in a different implementation, then you can kind of go through and pick and choose like little strings of code that may help yours if you can implement them into your blockchain code, and it may help and improve. So I mean, not saying that he's here spying or plagiarizing. That's just what this article.
Yeah, and that's what I'm meaning. Like they're
So,
saying that,
so
but
you know how the media does, and they'll twist the stories and titles and blotch them to how they want it to look, so it catches more attention. I just thought it was interesting that he admitted to spying. I don't necessarily consider that to be spying. Right now, let's say that Polkadot had a contract, or their blockchain contract, that was private, right? And you weren't able to access it from public. Um, and then he went on and copied what they had going on that they didn't release to the public yet, and then released it to the public before them. I would consider that as spying, yes. But like, spying to me on the cryptocurrency thing is so vague because everything for the most part is so open source or open to the public. Um, there's only certain things in coding, for smart contracts too, for sure. I've been working on that, the past couple of days, but trying to understand that. But there's some few things in a smart contract that you would make private, like public balance you're going to make public, transactions you're going to make public, stuff like that. So like, if Polkadot was definitely had something they didn't like share to the public that they were getting ready to blow up the blockchain world with or something, and then all of a sudden Ada just released it before them in their version, then yeah, you could say they were spying. But this article is just him speculating off of, going through and understanding Polkadot's code and trying to find a way to implement a solution for ADA to be, faster than what they are and to handle smart contracts at the same time.
right. So I think we'll go ahead and we'll move on to our next topic, B&B problems. So I just wanted to go ahead and we'll look at their price right now. They're sitting at 285. So I'm surprised they finally ended up breaking under that 300 mark. That's not necessarily what the BNB problems are. Uh, just so that way we're clear, that's not necessarily what I'm wanting to bring up. It's just that I'm just looking at where they're at right now. They haven't reached another low yet. They haven't reached another new low, so that's good. But moving forward on to what could end up being their potential issue is this article is it's a little dated, but it is from the from about a week ago, but it does touch on some things that need to be brought up about Binance. And this came out about, it looks like it was, I think it was updated about 2 days ago. I'm not 100% sure, but it was definitely made this week. But conditions for sex on the legal action. The Howdy test has been the means for Securities and Exchange Commissions to determine if there is a breach of securities laws. Tests evaluate whether a transaction qualifies as an investment contract or not. Under the Howdy test, an investment contract exists if there is an investment of money in the common enterprise with reasonable expectations of profit to be derived from the efforts of others, says Hogan. The test is a reference to the SEC v. W.J. Howie case that proceeded over by the Supreme Court back in 1946. And so what Hogan says about Tether and Binance Coin. Hogan talks briefly about Tether's $18.5 million settlement last February with the New York Attorney General to end investigations over alleged cover-ups of an $850 million loss. Meanwhile, as for Binance, the lawyer pointed out that cryptocurrency does form an investment of money, adding that Binance ICO back in 2017 also falls under description of investment contracts. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because what is something that has been happening a lot more often here lately. Under Doge. What is one of the things that you're currently committed to building an app for?
Well, for cryptocurrency.
But
I mean,
primarily for people that are doing rug pulls, correct?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So this is, I think, one of the reasons why it is that the SEC is starting to look into it. It's just one of those things that
only a matter of time, man. It's only a matter of time before the secure. Well, you know what really triggered it is the fact that Mark Cuban lost $8 million to that Titan crap. That's what it is. That he's the reason behind this big push right now. I'll put money on it. He's one of the big reasons behind the big push for the Securities Exchange to get in, to the SEC to get in here and start validating this stuff and getting into it, having the IRS tap into it. Next thing you know, we're going to see the IRS tap into it. It's going to start being federally taxed and all sorts of crap now. There's going to be regulations put on it. That's why we're going through this correction right now. Because the SEC, I keep forgetting what they're exactly called, but the SEC is going to come in right now and they're going to validate all these projects. Like a lot of these BEP 20 projects probably ain't going to be here after the SEC gets done doing what they're doing. And the reason being is because a lot of them are going to have to turn around and go either come up with the money to register for a business or LLC. Personally, an LLC would be a lot better. So, if anything ever happened legally, you don't have liability on you as a person. It's on the business. Anyways, so a lot of these projects are gonna have to start filing with tax paperwork and everything. So we're gonna see a lot of these companies fall off. A lot of these projects and stuff like that, they're gonna fall off, and it's because most of them. Not saying that they're rug pulls, but they're gonna just not be able to either come up with the money, or once all the legal stuff starts falling into place, it's gonna really push a lot of people away from it. And yeah, that's just only a matter of time before the SEC got into this. I mean, you're seeing people lose millions and billions of dollars, or I should say billions and millions of dollars on a daily basis due to, rug pulls or scam artists or people who pose as like one other profile on Twitter or so ever wherever you're at, right? And ask you for donations. And some people just scam people out of credit card money and stuff like that still. So it's just only a matter of time before it gets in here. And so like that's why I wanted to develop that app, so that way when, let's say I don't know you, right? Let's say I don't know you. And you go on my website and you're like, oh, you comment in the public chat area and you're like, or make a post to the website and it says, hey, this company XA Splee contract number, and they put down the contract and say, this company rugged me for X amount of dollars. Well, then we'll take that contract number and, put it into the Ethereum virtual machine with a smart contract listing it as a rug pull, and then launch it on the Ethereum network. And so then that smart contract is always going to be there forever. And I think that will be a very good door for, us here at Crypto Invest TV to be into once the SEC picks this stuff up and takes off.
Yeah, I don't disagree. When it comes to what's going on right now with all these rug pulls, it's just kind of ridiculous. I mean, I just don't understand the concept, especially in some of these really small rug pulls where like people are running off with like $4,000, $5,000. I'm just like, so you're gonna.
Like that project I promoted last week, Safe Ghost Space.
Yeah, it's just like it's one of those things where it's stupid, right? Why would you? Why are you gonna sit here and essentially? Because I mean, your name's going on that. Even if like you try to keep yourself hidden, like you're gonna have to go through a lot of work to try and keep yourself,
But for the
hidden.
blockchain itself, the anonymity is insane. You'll be remain anonymous. You'll just be a transaction hash, But when you start putting your face on the project or something like that, and or start creating a website, those things can be tracked. A lot of people aren't thinking here very smart, like when you create a website, unless you're using a VPN, which a lot of people might be, but unless you're using a VPN, dude, to create a website for a rug pull and then going promoting it to like people like Snoop Dogg and crap like that on Twitter, and then rugging people for millions of dollars. If you didn't use a VPN on that and they track that IP address, you're done.
Oh yeah, and I mean that's just one of the things is like, a lot of people are they're like, "Oh, I don't want regulation and things like that." I'm like, "Yeah, but wouldn't you also like for there not to be, rug pulls or at least a lot less of them because,
Well, I don't. Well,
accountability is a lot more likely?"
I don't. I'm not all about regulating the market. Okay, I'm there for protection in a market. But once you start regulating it, it starts becoming a little leaning toward the centralized side, Because then you start telling people that there's certain things that they can and can't do unless they meet certain requirements. And it starts getting a little more centralized. Like, this is all supposed to be decentralized for a reason. We're supposed to be avoiding the SEC. We're supposed to be avoiding third party systems. and yet we're seeing the adaption of third-party systems finding their way to still be third-party systems on the blockchain right now.
Well, what
And
I'm primarily saying is more like we have to have a certain level of regulation. No one said that we needed to be heavily regulated, but we need there's certain like basic regulations that can be implemented into crypto that wouldn't essentially end up centralizing it, right? It's just more of like there's certain things that you can do that can just be more of like accountability things. Just like for instance, on YouTube, if a certain amount of people report you for something, you end up with a repercussion from it, right? And so, essentially that's the type of process that can end up happening with that. No one, I'm not saying necessarily that we need the government to come and step in and be like, oh yeah, let's come and watch all this and let's see like what we can try to do to mess with it because that's what's going to end up happening right there. But to say like, all right, well, there's essentially been an outcry for this essentially where this crypto token was made. It's understood that these are the people that had done it, and there needs to be some kind of accountability for that, right? So I mean, we can have accountability for people that do essentially what is still technically illegal, and it not end up centralizing and defeating the purpose of what crypto assets were essentially made for to begin with.
yeah, but basically, I guess what I'm trying to get at is I don't want to see them regulate crypto the same way they regulate the dollar bill.
Yeah, that's never going to happen because they don't have that type of control, right? They're not gonna be able to try and control Bitcoin like that, right? Or Ethereum like that, right? That's not something that they're necessarily going to be able to do. That's something that they could do with their own, if they were to make their own, crypto asset to where it would be a representation of the U.S. dollar and it was a government backed uh, asset. That would be one thing. That's something that they would be able to essentially do whatever they want. But when it comes to all this other stuff, there's a reason why like major countries don't want to just hop right onto the bandwagon and start using it. It's because if you were to do that, then how are you going to hide all the stuff that you don't want people seeing? If all transactions can be seen, and everyone understands that these specific wallets are the government's wallets, or these are the politicians' wallets, or whatever, right? And then they see you doing like some really weird transactions. Then now you have to start answering questions. That's the whole reason why these bigger countries don't want to get involved with with crypto like that quite yet. They want to see how they can figure out a way to make it to where they can still keep doing what they're doing and use that at the same time. That once they figure that out, then that's when all of a sudden you're going to see a huge shift to where it's going to go from mass FUD to like mass FOMO. You watch. That's what will happen. The second that they figure out a way that they can sit there and keep themselves safe uh, in their own ways and still be able to use it, then you'll see them be more willing to be like, oh yeah, this is something that we're going to look into, having it be
And the
part
way
of
to
our
do that,
economy.
and the way to do that is to create your own blockchain that's powered by that coin. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the way to do it. You want to be safe. Blockchain technology is safe.
No, no,
Okay?
that's not what I mean by safe. What I mean by safe when I say the government wants to be safe is I'm saying that they want to make sure that their shady dealings are not seen on the blockchain. You know what I mean?
You
And
can
one
that's what I'm trying to get at. All right. They want to do that, right? They can do that. As shitty as it sounds, you can make your dealings private. So nobody who has public access to that blockchain can see those transactions or XA Like when you're writing your smart contract for your token, you can make all your transactions private. So nobody can see them. So if you went on Etherscan, it wouldn't track. if it went on BPE or BP scan or BSC scan, my bad, it wouldn't track if you put private for the transactions. So you wouldn't be able to see the data on that. And that's the thing is they don't, like it's all in the code. And so they just don't understand it. And that's the problem. There's too many dummies working in the government that don't. They understand a lot of stuff, right? They do. They're not extremely stupid, but they're dumb to the point where they don't know how to write the code. And chances are you're not going to find anybody who's going to be willing to write code for, unless it's somebody from the government. You're not going to be able to find, I don't think, it's really rare that you're going to find a programmer who is excited to do cryptocurrency and wants to build a blockchain. Unless you pay this person like millions and millions and millions of dollars, you're probably not going to find somebody who's going to be willing to program a shady blockchain. I mean, you'll find some people who's willing to program shady coins, right? But programming a shady blockchain takes a long time. So I don't think anybody's just going to be willing to invest their time into building something awesome that's just used for shadiness. And of course, we're going to see that evolve. Don't get me wrong. That's going to happen. It's probably already been happening. But chances of the fact of the matter, we're going to see the government build a blockchain to where they can keep it all private and nobody has access to it from out here. It's very possible. 100%, 100% possible. But it's just not likely right now because they're, like you said, kind of
it's a
kind of
complicated thing
like
for them to make it
hesitant.
the way they want it.
Well, they're hesitant. They're hesitant to get into it. The SEC is hesitant to get into it. I mean, they got the crypto mom, so they got crypto mom working at the SEC. So, and she doesn't play no games. She's all about crypto. She sees the potential in the future of blockchain. She knows what's up. And so the government here in America is ready to move forward with it. They're just trying to figure out their ways of how they're going to get paid off of it. That's the thing. How are they going to get paid off of people using this? You know what I'm saying? Or anything. They're trying to find a way. That's the problem. It's the problem with a lot of stuff in this country. And that's why it's not as widespread as it should be. Like marijuana should be legal, but it's not because the government hasn't found their way to make the trillions of dollars that they could. And so that's why it's not legal. Other things of that nature too. Like that's why a lot of things don't get legalized. It's because they don't have a system set in place for them to maximize the most profits that they could.
Yeah, I agree with you on a lot of that. When it comes to the government, they got their ways of doing things, and that's pretty well the way that they're going to stick to doing it, right?
Yeah,
Uh, you know, they're not gonna change how they do things. They're just they're not. It's not necessarily that they're not willing to change what they're doing, but necessarily how they're doing it. Right? They're okay
yeah,
with you know the whole crypto thing. Using crypto. That's not necessarily the issue, but it's the how. How do we use the crypto? How do we use the crypto to benefit us, the most? And realistically, I mean, really and honestly, I think if anything, maybe like a different type of tax, like having a different type of tax for crypto. That way they get their cut, right? Um, essentially like whenever you go to the store and you were to make, you were to buy it, like how just like how when you sorry, just like how when you go onto pancake swap and you make your transaction and there's like slippage and tax and things like that, they could very easily implement something like that, right? So like, you just pay like you if you go to the register and you pay with US D fiat, then you pay the USD fiat tax, right? If you go up there and you pay with crypto, then you pay the crypto tax, right? And irregardless of whether the crypto tax would be at a higher or lower rate than the fiat, I honestly don't think necessarily matters, because if you think about it, let's say let's just say that the average for taxes in America is like 9%. We'll just say that that's the average if you were to take all the states. And I don't actually know. I haven't done any of the numbers. I'm just saying, let's say that's the average, right? And then let's say that the average for crypto is, 10 cents, or not 10 cents, but 10%, or 8%, right? It really wouldn't matter one way or the other unless it was substantial, right? So like if you went to the store and you went to go and buy something and there was a 20% tax on it, that would be an issue, because you already have to pay the gas fees. But I think honestly, if there was if you had to pay a little bit more, I guess like in the regards of the entirety of your transaction when it comes to doing like US based transactions, I guess a good segue for them to go with would be like some kind of tax, and then later on progressing into something else. That would probably be a really good segue into that for them, which is like to have a simple tax that gets pulled out. The government has their own wallet. It sits into that, and just like you said, that there's plenty there's plenty of ways that they can actually go into like a private wallet and stuff like that with those to do that. But most likely, what the government would do anyways is they would probably just end up moving it around. But but all that I can say is that realistically, that would probably be the easiest thing to go with. That would be the least intrusive on everyone.
Yep, I agree. I agree 100%, bro.
But I guess we'll go ahead and we'll move on to the next topic about you were wanting to talk about Doge Palooza.
Yeah, Doge Palooza. So, um, dude, it's gonna be epic. In case you don't know about Doge Palooza, you should probably go do some research. It's gonna be fun, man. So I'm pulling up the information right now. All right, so it's a festival.
Yeah, it's this event is a fun way to bring the Doge community together to share their passion
Hey,
and love for Dogecoin. I'll go ahead and I'll bring it up onto the screen for everyone.
yeah, that's I was actually trying to pull that up in
We
Brave.
will be giving back to the community by supporting and donating both local and national charities. There will be live entertainment, drinks, food, Dogecoin merchandise, and an all around celebration of doing only good every day.
Okay,
Uh,
so I attended the Doge Palooza Spaces the other day, right? And that's actually hosted by let me pull her Twitter up. I think it's Coco Chanel. Uh, maybe. Coco Chanel Adair. Her and a couple of people got involved together and are hosting the Doge Palooza. And so when I was in there, they were saying that in the morning throughout the afternoon to about like 5 or 6 p.m. It's going to be like kid friendly. And they're going to have like babysitters and artwork and all sorts of like little games and stuff like that for the kids to play. Which is going to be awesome. Like I just pulled up their Twitter, the Dogepalooza, and Benzinga actually even shared an article on them. I guess Elon Musk has been talking about it. So it's going to be a good time. I actually submitted an artist form to perform a DJ set there, so I'm hoping that I hear back from them. It should be a good freaking time. But they were like on the Weekly D podcast recently talking about it. And it's just going to be it just sounds like a good wholesome time. After having a rough year, being locked down, on freaking, this pandemic bullcrap. I think it'd be a good release of energy and a good time for people to come together, and it'll be all fun and friendly. I don't think it'll be any like bad things going on, and I just think it'll be a good time. And yeah, who knows, man? Who knows who will show up there? You know what I'm saying? You might see Matt Wallace there. You might even see Elon Musk there. You might see Guy Fieri there. Who knows? You might see Snoop Dogg there. But it's in Texas. I don't think they've released the location yet exactly, but it should be a good time.
Yeah, apparently while we were on here doing the stream, apparently Doge fell all the way down to 16.5 cents.
Really? Like right now?
Like it looks like about a few minutes ago,
I was gonna say, okay, I see it. Yep.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah. 17 I see on Trust Wallet. I don't see 16, but
across the exchanges they vary a pinch.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, over here it got all the way down to like 16.5 cents. Should have been paying attention, man. I should have been paying attention a little bit more. Could have bought in a little bit lower, because I bought in when it was at like 18 cents, but I definitely would have liked to get a pinch more at 16.
I'm still all positive, my friend.
Oh yeah, same here, all day.
The only one that I'm not positive on is my Dogecoin winnings that I just recently won in a giveaway like about a month ago. So that's about the only thing that I'm negative on in Dogecoin. All the rest of it, though, I'm still positive on. I got in while it was early, about 4 cents, 5 cents, 8 cents, 7 cents, 6 cents, even bought in at 32 cents because that's how I invest. I invest where I believe. And I believe in Dogecoin. But, yeah, dude, I think that after having such a really hard, terrible year, that this Dogepalooza would be a very good way for people to find themselves in a good position,
Yeah.
To be able to get out the house and shake off the Rona.
So I guess we'll go ahead and move on to the final topic, which is new projects. So if there's any new projects that you wanted to bring up, now would definitely be that time.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple, we got some topics or some good projects coming out. Oh man, there's a lot, dude.
I know, there's the Maja token.
Yep. So the Maja token, that's a Mary Jane token,
Mm-hmm.
It's a new weed token. which is cool. You know me, I support that all the way. Maja Token official on Twitter. So far they've been doing a lot of giveaways and stuff like that. They had an airdrop. They had let's see. Let's go read what they're about. I'm gonna go to
Well,
majatoken.io
I
and
got them pulled up right now, and
on majatoken.io.
no, I got them pulled up on PooCoin.
Oh, okay. How they doing on the? I haven't even checked their chart.
Let's see. Let me bring them out.
So Maja Token, what their aim is worldwide legalization of cannabis, and it starts with Maja Token. That's what
Oh,
it
dude,
states.
we're doing good.
Yeah, they're pretty good. They're not doing bad. It says their community is passionate about getting cannabis legalized in their homelands. They say right here, we do not accept criminalization of something so harmless that can help so many people. We need cannabis as medical treatment. We want cannabis for social reasons. Their partnerships, it says we are reaching out to activist groups and legalization movements from all over the world. With Maja Token, we will have a bigger voice. Okay, and then down here it goes over a little bit of their roadmap. So 20 to 21, or Jesus, 2021 quarter 2, the launch of Maja Token. Quarter 20 or 3 of 2021, growing the team. Quarter 4 2021, working with alternative media. Then they have a phase 2 expansion taking off in quarter 1 of 2022. But I mean, their chart looks freaking great from the 7th to the 7th, or 7th to the 17th. Sorry. But yeah, they're doing pretty good. I like them. Got a free airdrop from them the other day, so definitely definitely support that project.
Yeah, over here I got actually I got the holders pulled up. So currently there's 215 holders. Um, the top holder is actually the burn address. So I'm guessing no one's gonna be getting into that one, right?
Yeah, no, they shouldn't be. Definitely not.
So the next top holder after that is they
If it,
hold
if
about
it,
they hold about 13% of the total. So
that's good. That's not too bad.
no, not at all. I mean,
Is
we've
that a
definitely
contract
seen.
or a regular address?
Let's see. It might be the contract. Honestly, I mean, there's a lot of outs. It's all
Yeah,
out.
it's probably the contract.
Mm-hmm. So definitely no complaints there. The next one would be at 5%, which you definitely couldn't complain about that. I think actually this is the contract, yeah? Right here, where it says Pancake Swap.
Yeah,
Well, this is the Pancake Swap version too, right? This is what they have to have on there.
yeah, that's what you have to type. Yeah, yeah, that's it. That's it. That's the contract. I mean, it's a good thing though. I mean, it's good that there's nobody holding at least 30 or more percent of the initial supply. So that's good.
Right, and so it looks like the total is 95 quintillion. Well, 95, quintillion, 716 trillion, 565 billion. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to even keep going. But that realistically, that's actually not that much, especially when you consider you know how much each individual actually is holding, right? It's not like this isn't the type of this isn't the type of token that will be treated like each individual token is worth $1, right? You know what I
Right.
mean? This, and plenty of tokens are like that. There's just, in all reality, to say that the token would be able to. I mean, I guess you could say it in theory could hit $1 one day, right? But uh, I wouldn't say it.
I do have some other projects too, though, that are pretty sweet. There's a couple of good projects coming out. There's this one. We talked about whole gold, didn't we? Real whole gold, blood diamond. Blood diamond is a super rare project. Only has 2,000 in supply. I think they burned like 900 of them. I think we talked about this last week. But they're a good project. They're doing pretty good. Ticker symbol is HDLS. They're a pretty good project. I'm all about it. I have one blood diamond myself, and I'm holding for the long haul, buddy. They're a pretty good project. I I don't know. They'll be doing their thing here. They started out trading at 29 cents, jumped to $180 in a couple of days. That green candle right there, if you can see that peak.
Oh yeah, yeah. It actually went above that. It went up to about
It's like
$183.
yeah, $183 was it all time high. And so I mean they're doing pretty good. They're just got to get their word out. They have another launch coming up for Hold Gold. That's what it's actually called. The token is called Hold Gold. It's another low supply, but way more than 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 the HDLS, but it's still a low supply, so rare token. It's a good investment. I would it's not investing advice, but I would recommend it. Another token that I want to talk about is called Mania token. This one is actually pretty awesome. It's I think one of the first I've seen of its kind, to be honest with you. They have a very different approach in the cryptocurrency field. Okay, so it is a fashion token, and they're aimed for the fashion industry. So I really enjoy it though because it's a different crowd. It's drawing different crowds into the cryptocurrency field. So that's awesome. I mean, we know that certain fashion stars like Jeffree Star and stuff like that are definitely into cryptocurrency, and like Paris Hilton and stuff like that. But this is cool to see that this is for fashion specific. I'm trying to pull up their website, and it seems like I'm having some issues with my internet tonight. But so they're a fashion token, and it's going to be a good token, man. I don't really have a ton of information. They have an airdrop going on. Their future exchange for fashion NFTs will be named FashX. This is just me reading some stuff off of their Twitter. I do have a little bit of stuff, some information on there. They have a Facebook. They haven't really released too much information. Seems like they're partnered up with Shield G token. So They got as of June 3rd, they had Shield G was on its 3 days before its pre-sale. So June 6th must have been its pre-sale. So yeah, they're just now getting ready to get their token together and get launched. So if I were you, I would go check them out on Twitter. Mania Token is what they're called. They're a really cool company. I would definitely check them out. Another one, I don't, a lot of people don't like this name, but I don't really. That's fine with me if they don't like it. It's Queef Token. We've talked about them before, but they're doing some cool stuff. So Queef Token stands for Queens Uplift, Embrace, Educate, and Fight. It was a BEP token created by women to empower women. So the creator of Queef Token, she's a disabled veteran who's a nurse, right? And so she's a disabled veteran of who's a nurse. Created this token, but they just launched some NFTs the other day, and they're pretty freaking cool, dude. They're pretty cool. If you could pull them up so everybody could see them, dude, I think you would enjoy them. They're really cool. They're like little cards. They got these nuns on them now, and they released a nun Queef token NFT specifically for Church of Pumps. It's so awesome, dude. Their community is fun.
How do they have it spelled?
QUEEF. The ticker is QFT. They're doing their thing, man. They're really doing pretty good. I'll send you the contract address on Twitter, or you got them pulled up?
Yeah.
Okay, so that massive dump right there is a good thing. All right. Yeah, the chart looks terrible. Okay. But it's actually a good thing because that was their whale that they had. They had a whale inside of Queef token who dumped off all their tokens.
Well, it's a good thing it happened right during, like, around this launch.
Exactly. And so the whale took some profits, dumped a bunch today, which is a good thing though because now they don't have no whale. Whale selling isn't a rug pull, is what they say on Twitter. Queef Token said 5 hours ago. We are still here. The project is healthy, and we don't have to worry about greedy whales messing with smaller investors. This is why I like them, because they're here for the community, So it's been fun. It's been fun. They're a fun community. You go look at them on Twitter, and they're just having fun, man. They're obviously doing some real things, and they're obviously having some, good potential here. They got a bunch of buyers. They still have a ton of holders. They got freaking NFTs coming out of the freaking air, out of nowhere. Bree, the crypto guy, is the one making all these NFTs, and they have them pumping, my friend. They got NFTs coming out. There's one that's a nurse. They got one of a model on Twitter. 2 days ago, they were, obviously way up. Today, they're way down. But yeah, I shared those NFTs on my Twitter page. I'm probably gonna. I don't know. I've lost a couple of followers the past couple of days, which is okay because that just gears me up to prepare better for this 2,000 follower giveaway. Let's talk about another project though. Never even heard of it. Avidox? Avidox. How the hell do you spell that? Oh, yeah. I don't think I was in that one. This other one I want to talk about is Baby Dogecoin. Baby Dogecoin, man. Absolutely been rocking the freaking charts like crazy over the past 2 days, especially the past week. Dude, wild, right? So I got involved. I don't know if it was a airdrop or if I went. I think I went and bought some, and I only spent like 60 cents, man. And oh shoot, the Mania white paper. Oh, I pulled up the Mania white paper. That's cool. I didn't notice that. But it looks like 100,000 million billion trillion. Okay, so it looks like their total supply is 420 quadrillion. And they're already at 101 2000 or 101 242,000 addresses of holders. So this coin is being bought up like crazy. It's got reflections in it. They're doing some good stuff. It's a good token. Yeah, dude. So it looks like they have tax fees on there. They have an allowance. Looks like they have reflections on there as well. So yeah, it looks like they're doing pretty well, man. They're doing nice. I really like them. Climbing up the charts. Got it looking pretty healthy. I only spent 60 cents the other day, and it ended up peaking out at like $1.48 is what my total was worth. Then it's obviously been down, but yeah, I mean that's a good place I think to put some money into. Then there was this other one too. I don't have any, but I can't. I don't think it'll pop up. But it's Mecca Doge, I think. So yeah, yeah, and it should be doing pretty good. uh, it should be doing pretty freaking good, unless I mean I'm not sure. I haven't checked out. I haven't checked into it. I don't know if they were doing their pre-sale or what happened, right? So I haven't looked into it, but I seen one. It looked really cool. You follow this profile, Keith KO, right? Yeah, Keith KO was sharing something about it the other day, so it like had me really interested. If he's gonna share something about it, I'm kind of interested because I follow him and I don't see him, steering too many people wrong. But when I'm looking at the 12-hour chart, this thing is just zooming. So Well, right now it's resting at one. So we're sitting at 10 zeros past the decimal, 607121. It's got a $60,000 market cap and $590 in holdings or LP holdings. And it looks like it just launched today, maybe. Oh, nice. A go figure. The Doge community does not fail to surprise me. They never fail. I might actually get some of this. It looks like it's, it's, they got a 1 quadrillion supply, and they have a cap supply of 991 trillion. So, yeah, what is that? What token is that? No. Oh, the Red Order? Oh, what is it? A rug? Go check. How much LP is in there? Oh, because it's on PooCoin. It's a ERC20 token. PooCoin. Yeah, let's not say that it's a rug. Let's retract those statements. But at the same time, I don't think you're probably gonna have to pull it up on EtherScan. Yeah, it's not gonna show up on PooCoin because I think PooCoin only tracks BSC projects. I could be wrong, but I think it does. I'm not 100% sure. I could be wrong. What was I? Yeah, that's what I'm doing. But I mean, that's cool though. Mechadoge. It seems fun. Sounds fun. Like they had a meme they shared about Mechadoge. I think this is the longest stream that we've done so far, my friend. Yeah, we've been going for a hot minute, and that's all. I'm all good with that. I don't have nothing going on tomorrow. Maintenance, maintenance. Yeah, I figured they would. Holy crap! Now way the f up. Yeah, they shot way up though from like the initial launch. Wow. Wait, their liquidity is 277,000. Well, then you know that that's not a rug pull. That's for sure. That's cool though. That's awesome. I seen that they hit you up on Twitter. Anything come from that? Well, maybe we could try to reach out to them and do an AMA.
Yeah, maybe if I don't continue to do silly things,
Like what?
like have myself muted while I'm talking and not realize it. It's funny.
Were you muted the whole time you were talking about the Red Order?
Yeah,
No.
I don't even remember how long I was. Who knows? Few minutes.
That's good.
Yep.
I guess, in a sense. Sorry for the audio issues, guys. X8 must have muted himself. Woo, it's been one of those days. You could tell that was a Monday for sure. You're just now about to finish up Monday. I'm into Tuesday already, so it's a slightly better day for me.
Right.
The
Going on
Monday,
over here into Ethereum, it looks like still under 2,000, but it's definitely trying to it's definitely trying to get back over that $2,000 mark.
you said what?
I said it's
It's trying
definitely
for the what?
it's trying to get back over 2,000 Ethereum.
Yeah, it will. It
Oh
will.
yeah, of course. Just like Bitcoin will get back up to 60,000. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, right?
Right. See, I do kind of like, I don't know. I like Bitcoin Cash too, though. Because on Bitcoin Cash's network, you could go on there and create tokens too. And all, smart contract capabilities and everything as well. So, I like Bitcoin Cash as well. I also like Solana for that reason too, Polkadot for that reason. There's a lot, but I think Ethereum takes the cake when it comes to networks. There's also now, I've never noticed it before in my life, but there's a BEP20 version of Bitcoin.
Really?
Yeah, and it showed up in I didn't have none, but it showed up in my Trust Wallet today when I was searching up Bitcoin. And I can only imagine that it would probably have reflections and things.
What, it was a token essentially
Oh, it is Bitcoin BEP20. It's the
hmm.
same price. It's the same price as Bitcoin and everything. Yep, Bitcoin BEP20 right here. And it is $32,000, $870. $32,870.
Yeah, that's pretty close to what I'm seeing on Binance right now.
Yeah, it tracks Binance. Or it tracks Bitcoin. So it's the same token pretty much. It's just pegged over to Binance chain. So it's just a token, but the price is pegged to Bitcoin at a rate of one Bitcoin. BEP20 equals one Bitcoin, right?
Right.
Which is that's pretty sweet though, like cool. I'm cool with that. If you get reflections off of Bitcoin now, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Like let me just go put $5 in there. Screw it. That's all it would take for me. I'm a small investor. I don't care. I like investing little amounts of money here and there when I can.
Right.
It,
You
it's
got to
fun to
start
me.
somewhere, so I mean,
Well, it's fun. It's fun because I already know that um, if I have a bunch of money, I already know I'm getting a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
it's really cool to take your little bit of money and be like, oh, I wonder how much I could get for this, and then find something where you could get billions, and then you never know. What if it hits, and then you're,
Yeah.
balling. Like, let's talk about the underdog thing, okay? So, underdog finance. I don't know if you might be able to pull them up right here. You could pull them up on Poo Coins, but underdog finance.
You're cutting out. Mm-mm-mm. I do apologize, everyone. It looks like we're having some issues. Well, while Underdose is trying to fix his sound problems, we'll go ahead and pull up Underdoge Finance, which there's no relation, so you don't have to worry about that. It's just a coincidence. But they're currently sitting on a market cap of about 80,000. Um, go ahead and pull them out into the 1 hour chart. Um, you know, they've been having their ups and downs. I think they were definitely doing really well the other day. They spiked up to, it looks like, about 1/10 of a penny. Um, from what I'm seeing on here, uh, they, I think, yeah, okay, yeah. So they came up to about, they hit about 1/10 of, 1/10 of a penny, but there's that half, but you know, I couldn't tell you exactly what the percentage of that would be, but a little over 1/10 of a penny uh, before coming back down. They're currently sitting fairly low from where they were at before, but they're still holding a relatively similar market cap as to what they were holding before. Their total supply is 944 million, and yeah, I mean they're not looking as strong as they were before, but I mean neither is most of the market, um, just because they were doing better in the regards of earlier on in the month. Other than that, we do appreciate any of the viewers coming in to watch, and you'll see us again come this Wednesday, so stay tuned. Um, I'm sure that the Underdoge wishes that he could be here to give you a goodbye, so I will do that for him. And other than that, have a good one. And
Apologize. I'm sorry.
I was just doing the closeout for us since we couldn't get you back in.
Yeah, my iPad died, so unfortunately that didn't really work in my favor.
Yeah, well, if you'd like to give a goodbye before we get off the stream, now you're at least able to.
Yeah, definitely. So, I just wanted to ask really fast because I was paying attention to your screen through the YouTube channel when my iPad died. Was that 11,000 mark there on Underdog?
No, it was actually 1/10 of a penny.
Oh, 1/10 of a penny. So it looks like there's a glitch in some systems because that really confused me. I really thought that that was, a possible thing that happened. But anyways, you know, that's cool. Underdog's a good project, though. If you guys are interested, go check it out. Um, Also, Noob Token just launched some stuff too. Before I say my goodbyes. Other than that, you guys have a good night. Be safe out there. Sorry for the audio issues. We'll
Yeah.
see you on Wednesday.
All right. Have a great night. Crypto Invest out.